I was able to sort of rewrite the script with Kevin in mind specifically for Cyrus, so that, because he wanted to do it, so I tried to write it like I feel like Kevin would be strong in the role.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Jana, how are you?
I'm good. I'm doing fine. And you?
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. A pleasure to be talking to you and to be talk about Lyft. And I was very excited when a couple of years ago that your movie were picked up by Netflix. So now it's on screen. So watching the final version of the film, is everything that you wish for, the script, or much more?
It's incredible. I actually just we had the premiere 2 days ago, and I was talking to Gary after the movie, the director Gary Gray, and just saying how much, um, you know, when your script gets filtered through a director's vision and a cinematographer's vision and all of these actors that have come in and added so much to their roles, and and the changes that went through the development process. Like, it's amazing that through all of those different filters, at the end of the day, when I watched the movie, I told Gary straight up, I just said, that's the movie I always wanted it to be. Like, I always wanted it to be fun and clever and action and like a really great uh, character love story. And like, so in most ways, I'd say it's even better than I sort of imagined it. And so it's pretty gratifying to see. And it's pretty amazing to sort of see how they have all sort of brought their own unique artistic abilities to this project to really make something special.
Yes, when it, like the inspiration for the script, because your characters are in Europe, and how was that the story came about for you?
So the story, it started with a article that I read that was about, and this was a while ago. So the movie was, I sold the script, and it's been about 3 years since we sold the script to making the movie. But even before, and I wrote the script sort of the 3 months before that 3 years started. But 10 years before that, I had read an article about how they transferred gold on these commercial planes. And it was an article, and it was about how in Europe, if you fly from Zurich to London, there may be a crate of gold underneath your feet and you don't even know it. And, gold on a plane. And it just sort of, I wrote those words down, and it was exciting to me. And I thought, well, that's a heist. I've always wanted to do a heist movie, and I always wanted to do something fun and clever with a heist, and that just seemed like something really fun to steal. And so then I just started building from that idea and figuring out, why would our team have to do it, how they would go about doing it, and the idea sort of built itself up. And then I tried to sell it as a pitch 10 years ago, and couldn't get any nibbles because I was a younger writer and it was a tougher script, and it was always, write the script and then we'll see. And it was always the idea. Gold Plane was just an email that I sent myself of all my ideas, and it was always like the second one in line, and I always had something else to work on. And finally, during the pandemic, I just really wanted to write something really fun and really bright, and that I think the audience would love. And so I decided that it was finally time to write Gold Plane. And then 3 months later, we sold it, and 3 years after that, we made it. It's coming to Netflix. So.
Amazing. When it, like writing the script, did you have any actors in mind, or everything came afterwards? Because the cast is amazing. Kevin
Oh,
Hart.
the cast is amazing, top to bottom.
Yes, all of
They
them.
they have such great chemistry together, and actually, it went through some changes. Originally, we were supposed to, when I first thought of the idea, it was sort of a male lead, like Kevin is in the movie now. But actually, when I wrote the script to sell, I had switched it to a female lead because I was sort of looking for, just I thought that would be interesting for the marketplace, and that's the script that we sold to Netflix. But Kevin got involved almost right away and really wanted. He felt, him and his team felt very passionately about making this movie and doing something different for Kevin. And so very quickly, I was able to sort of rewrite the script with Kevin in mind specifically for Cyrus. So that, because he wanted to do it, so I tried to write it like I feel like Kevin would be strong in the role. Um, and then the other actors, it's sort of an interesting process. Like I never think about specific actors for the role when I'm writing it. Um, but it's actually, again, this is sort of goes back to sort of what I was talking about earlier, sort of the team effort, because the safecracker, who's played by Billy Magnussen and is amazing. He was always a young, you know wisecracking funny guy who's going to be our safecracker. But in the description of him, he was 12 different things before, it was like, well, we've got Billy wants to come in and he's been amazing. And so then the role really sort of tailored to him as we went. And that sort of happened with all the characters. Like the driver was always female, but it had gone through different iterations of what they wanted to do. And when they were saying, Ursula, we want Ursula to be in, and Ursula's interested, it was like, then we
She's
start to really
amazing.
tail it to them. And so, um, yeah, that's an interesting part of that process of putting together the team. But a lot of that was, Gary and the producers and Netflix just finding the right people and the right mix, and then slotting them into those roles, and having them really sort of bring them to life.
Yeah, I love how diverse the cast is because they represent us, like because our life is like that. You have different people that we work with, different type of like, ethnicity. I love that. I think it was really, really good. And I love Billy on it, Vincent, all of them are
Yeah.
so fun. Gugu.
I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, it really is a like, we haven't really we've sort of seen these characters before, but really I think the mix is really one of our strongest suits. I think it makes it interesting, and I think these characters really have a specific flavor individually, but then also taken together, and how it makes it feel fresh, and I think that people want to see. And then also just it helps for Netflix. Like, this movie is going to go worldwide, and we want to be inclusive and exciting for everyone.
Yes, yes. And you mentioned Gary Gray, the director. How was work with him? Like, and there was any scenes that you have on script that was very difficult to transcribe to the screen that you know, if you know.
Yes, it's Gary was great to work with. Gary came in, and like he's made the Italian Job. He made Fast Eight. Like, he's made these big, incredible heist movies with lots of action, and almost immediately, he was able to take this script that we all loved, or I loved, and everyone else sort of liked, and we were all set to do. And he's like, all right, we need to make some changes here. And he really put his stamp on sort of the action, and what he was very cognizant of being in the action, and making it visceral, and trying to put Kevin in positions that we've never really seen him before, away from sort of as a comedic actor, and really embrace that sort of action leading man type role. And so, yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. It's always interesting, because to see how the director describes things, and then how, you know, I always tell this story where there's some scenes that I've in my first movie, and I think there's one or two in this movie, where it's, they film exactly what I wrote, but it's different than what I intended, and in most of the time in better ways, because an actor says a line in a different way, or Gary films the action, or the editor puts things together in a certain way that just emphasizes different things. And it's great. And I actually told him at the premiere, there's a sequence in the movie. Um, I won't ruin it, but it's when they're on the plane, and they're in the bathroom trying to do something,
Uh-huh.
and there's action outside and there's action inside,
I
and
know.
yeah, seeing with the audience, and like feeling the audience being tense and then feeling the audience laughing and having a good time and then being relieved when the outcome sort of happened. And like that whole sequence um was pretty much exactly how I wrote it in the very first draft. And it's like something that has really sort of stuck and was the same through all the versions of the draft. And seeing it play like that, uh, I just went up to Gary and I was just like, congratulations and also thank you, because that's what I always wanted that to be. And he was able to bring that to the screen, and the editing and the page, all of that sort of just was like the feeling of what I wanted that to be on the page is what they brought, and it came across in the movie.
Yeah, that scene is really fun. And then all the
Yes.
other scenes, the scene is inside the airplane. It's incredible. When I don't want to spoil because I
Yeah.
don't watch
There's a lot of
trailers, so I don't know what is on the trailer, so I don't want to spoiler. So, but there's some
yes, there's
scenes.
definitely there's definitely action, and Gary finds a way to sort of keep everything clear through different points of view, and we're in different places. But yeah, that's always the stuff that, when I write, I try to write as I see it as the movie, and like, where we're gonna cut, and like you'll see this and then you'll see that, and then, you know, it's the same idea and feel of it, but Gary and the editor were able to sort of come in and really just make it really visceral, and really sort of push that movie to better heights from the script point of view, right? Like it's just
Yeah, yeah.
they're just words on they're words on the page, and it's Gary's job and everyone else to sort of bring them to life, to see them brought to life with such energy is really incredible.
Yeah, I also love those scenes there from the top of the cities. There are aerial scenes that they were so
Oh, yeah.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful
Beautiful.
scenes, like beautiful locations as well. All of
Well,
them,
yeah,
all
you
of them.
want to like, yeah, it feels like that big movie, and like it's just sort of like, I love the opening, how like bright it is, and it's not it's just, and everyone's dressed great and they all look like $1 million, and like it just has that feeling let's watch this movie and set this tone and have a good time, and all the way through. It's those little touches that Gary brings that really make the movie, what it is.
That's amazing. And now, like the movie is gonna premiere at Netflix, and you have all these streaming services that I think open up more opportunities for screenwriters like you. What do you think about these streaming services versus the theatrical releases of the movies? If you have an opinion on that.
Well, it's kind of mind-boggling, because you don't really. Netflix has been a great partner, and I think the movie's going to do. Hopefully the movie will do well. But it's interesting to think about how it's hard to wrap your mind around how big Netflix really is, and how they're able to distribute the movie to so many places. Like my first movie was 15 years ago now, but it was 12 rounds, and it was distributed by Fox. And I have family, cousins who live in Slovakia, and like I'm friends with them, and like we email. And when 12 rounds came out, it was like, hey, this movie's coming out, and then it was like, when can you see it? And they couldn't, and it was like, we have to drive to Poland. I was like, well, don't drive to Poland, you'll eventually see it, and like it'll eventually be on TV, and eventually was. But this idea that the movie, I guess it's it's probably Friday the 12th in Australia, like almost right now or whatever it is. And it's like for the next 24 hours, it's going to open, every hour all across the globe. And they've got viewers everywhere, and everyone can see it at the same time and the same day and enjoy it together. And like to think about something that I started on this computer that I'm zooming on right now, like it started there, and in the next 24 hours it's going to be everywhere in the world, is like exhilarating and exciting and slightly terrifying, and also like it's unlike an experience you can get anywhere else. And so um I really do think that's the big advantage to streaming. And also the fact that Netflix really embraced the script, and they really embraced the creative side of things. Like we were the when they bought the script on the very first Zoom, they said, we're going to make this movie. And like I've heard that in the 15 years between my first movie and this one, and It hadn't happened since, but they were really dedicated, and they knew that, this script and this movie really fit the audience that they serve, and I think it's gonna play across the whole world, hopefully, and hopefully people can watch it and have a really great time.
Yeah, I already told my family in Brazil because Brazil is it's a huge market for Netflix as
Yeah,
well. So I already told them you need to watch that. So it's
it's awesome.
amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's great, and like I just think that the energy and the fun like translates everywhere, and so it is exciting to think that it can be viewed anywhere and everywhere all at once. Uh, uh, like I said, slightly terrifying, but also super exciting.
Yeah. I know that you're still celebrating Lyft, but are you already working your next project? Something that you can talk about? Because sometimes you cannot talk
Always,
about.
always working on it. It's a screenwriter's business. You have to always be working. I have a script that I sold a few years ago called Yellowstone Falls that we're hoping to. It's been it's an idea that I've had that I think is really great, and it's crazy. It's about a family of wolves um, that are in sort of a zombie apocalypse in Yellowstone National Park, and we follow the wolves a lot, and there's not a lot of people in it, but it's a great story, and we've been working on developing with it, and I think we're sort of on a great path. So, knock on wood, hopefully we'll be hearing more about that soon. And then I'm just writing. I have new ideas all the time, and so I'm writing another spec script, sort of like what we did with Lyft, and I've got one right behind that, and so hopefully those things you'll be hearing more from me soon this year. So you never know in this business, right? It took 15
Yeah.
years between one and the other. I'm just very grateful that Lyft found such a great home, and we had such great partners to make the movie. And it just I love telling stories, so that's what I'm going to try to keep doing, and hopefully we'll see more of them soon.
No, that's for sure. I'll be here rooting for you always.
I
And
love it.
yes, yes, always. Daniel, I just want to thank you so much for your time. A pleasure to talk to you again, to see you again, and a lot of success. And just say hello to your family, to JC,
I will.
Clayton,
You
and
Yes,
and
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 yes,
Rose.
you say hi to everybody, and it's so fun that I love that about LA is you interact with people, and then it's like I've told the story like there was there was there was at least three people at the premiere that all had a relation through Colfax. Like it's just like you go to sorry, but yeah, well,
Yes, it's a village.
you go to an elementary school, and you never know who you're with. So it's great to see you doing so well, and it was my pleasure.
No, my pleasure. Thank you so much. And Happy New
Thank
Year.
you. Yes, you too.
If you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.